So as a ham, how do I start using DMR? Okay, well, let me clean off. What you need to do, since you already got your ham radio license, the first step in the journey is you got to go and you got to get a DMR ID. Now this is step number one, DMR ID. This is going to be your telephone number into the network. You have to do this, okay? If you don't get a DMR ID, you can't play in the sandbox. Okay, so the next step is you need a radio, okay? You're going to need a radio. I'm going to put this down here because we're going to go. So you're going to need a radio, and that'd be an HT or a mobile. And then, I got to spell mobile right. And then you're going to need to you need to get a hotspot, which is one of these RF endpoint devices that connect to the internet, or a local repeater. And we're going to focus on today, we're going to do maybe we're going to get an HT and a hotspot, okay? There are DMR mobiles and there are DMR repeaters, but for the sake of this discussion, we're going to start off with a DMR HT and a hotspot. So those are the three things that you need. Another item you might need is a Windows-based computer to run the CPS. Most of these, what I mean by CPS is that is the program that creates the the profile that you dump into your radio, okay? You have to build this up in order to be able to tell it how it's supposed to perform. Now, on this radio that I used in the demonstration at the beginning, it was all set up. And we're going to jump into this, by the way, but you need a computer. And I've got the computer on the table here, and there's a link here for a great low-cost tablet computer like used in the live stream. You can get them on Amazon. I got a link for that in the show notes if you need to get a computer, but that is the computer I'm using right now. And it does a great job. It's not that much money, and you can use it to program your radios, and it runs Windows, which is a big concern. You know, you need Windows for a lot of these stuff. I know there's a lot of Mac people out there, but in this case, we got to use Windows for that. Okay, so we got the hotspot, and we got the hotspot, and we got the radio, and so now that you're getting ready to go, you got to get the DMR ID, okay? And you want to go to a website called radioid.net. And I'm going to take you there. Okay, this is where you need to go in order to register or log in and sign up to get a DMR ID. This is the first step in the journey, folks. Without the DMR ID, you can't play. So, and earlier I mentioned about people getting on the system. Look, you can see some stats here on the board. In the last 7 days, they've issued 547 new DMR IDs. In the last 30 days, they've added 2,110. And you can see these graphs down here of the growth of IDs by month. And you can start seeing that it's averaging about 2,000 a month, a little uptick last month. But this is how many, it looks like there's 213,039 IDs issued. So you can go in here and look at this database, and you can do a search once you get your DMR ID. And by the way, you log in and sign up, and you do need a copy of your amateur radio license to prove that you're a real ham, and before they give you their ID. It's a painless process. I've just recently learned that they have about 30 volunteers working for, in this case, or helping out with this. The gentleman's name is Glenn. He's up in Canada, and he handles the Radio ID website. But just to show you, you can go down here and you can do your DMR ID search. So I'll just show you guys like what's mine. So I can type in my call sign here. Whoops. Yeah, it's got a lot of ads on here. So I'll type in my call sign, KC0QVT. And I should be able to, yep, there I am. Okay, so my DMR ID is 312 9172. And I got that several years ago, but this is what you need. All right. Okay. Once you get a DMR ID, and you can do this at the same time, you're going to need to get a radio. Okay. And we offer the, we're going to do our demonstration and offer it with the Anytone 878 UV2 Plus. It's you guys can look. I put a link in the description there on all about this. I noticed in some of the chats before that there was interest in the specs on the radio, but this is a really good radio in that it has a lot of the bells and whistles that you want as a ham, and it's also a commercial radio too. So it's got a really nice display. And see if I can. Well, I'll pull it out. Let me see if I can get a view over here of what's going on. Let's see here. Yeah, you guys, I'll put this in the stream here. You can see nice display. Okay, that's kind of cool. So I'll leave that be. But anyway, I'm going to get out of the and open up the box here, and I'm going to put this radio, because we're going to set up this radio brand new out of the box. And did I skip a? Okay, yeah. Well, hang on. I think I'll jump the gun here. Let me get. We want to talk about a hotspot too first. Okay. We're also going to go through and we're going to use a hotspot, like one on the bench. We're going to use that to set this all up as well. Okay. But basically, that's what you need. You need a DMR ID, a radio, and a hotspot, and this will help you start your journey. Okay.